For those of us that represent growth communities in this country, and I do, I know that in those growth communities there is often pressure on people when they see inwards migration. People easily fear change. People easily fear difference. And when they see increased pressure on public services, sometimes that fear can turn to resentment. And it is the job of national leadership to reassure in the face of that fear, to explain to people that there is ultimately nothing to be afraid of, just as we have incorporated migrants in this country in the past, we will incorporate migrants in this country in the future. And as well as reassuring, it is the job of national leadership to make sure that we plan services and communities properly so that fear doesn't turn to resentment. Now, there is another path, Mr Speaker, there is another path, and that is seeking to channel that fear and that resentment into political gain. There is another path. And we have seen that other path used in national politics. We saw it used by One Nation. And I am so glad that this nation defeated that spectre of One Nation by coming together, political parties, across the divide of this aisle and putting One Nation last on how to vote cards. I'm proud our nation did that. I'm really proud of it. But, Mr Speaker, I'd have to say that spectre of that ugly politics, that grubby path, is before us again. And the principal task of this parliament this week is to banish that spectre again. And it will require the Leader of the Opposition to do some difficult things. It will require the Leader of the Opposition to replace his Shadow Minister for Immigration. It will require the Leader of the Opposition to replace his Parliamentary Secretary. But in the interests of banishing that ugly spectre from national politics, that is what the Leader of the Opposition must do this week. We have a clear path forward and we should be on it together. Bipartisanship about multiculturalism, bipartisanship about the rights and responsibility of citizenship, and bipartisanship about a non-discriminatory immigration policy. Let's hope that's how we end the week. I fear that's not how it started.